Hey folks, Rob
and Nathan,
and we are Two Guys in a Ride, and we're out here at 2019 SEMA. What do you think so far, Nathan?
Well, it is awesome.
Yeah, hey folks, we got a lot of cool videos coming up for you, so stay tuned. Got one coming right now, but before you do, take a moment, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification
so you never miss a video.
What do you say, Nate? Let's go for a ride. All right.
Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and today we're here at SEMA, and you never know who you're going to run into. And today we ran into James and Matt, and you may recognize this 1964 Pontiac Tempest behind me because it was on Bitchn Rides, and then Dave Kindig redid it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so we found it, and they have agreed to talk with us a little bit. So James, start with, you know, here's the car itself, but you've had this car for long before you sent it into Bitchn Rides to have it redone.
Yeah, that's true.
So how long had you actually owned the car?
26 years.
And when you bought it, what kind of a shape was it in?
We thought it was in really good shape. It was redone by a local guy in the town. I bought it literally a block from where I lived.
Oh wow!
It was that close.
Okay.
I saw the car driving home from work one day, and I saw it, and I went up and talked to the guy's father, and we looked at it, and we ended up buying the car. So I've had it for 26 years. It was the first muscle car that I ever bought, and we drove it and enjoyed it for 26 years before we sent it over to Dave.
And Matt, you've ridden in this car. In fact, you've driven this car as well. Do you remember doing some burnouts in this car with your dad?
Yeah, I do. Even without him, you know.
Even without
he's at work. Take it out.
We won't put that on the yeah. So let's walk down here towards the front here, and let's start with, you know, you thought you had a good solid car.
Yeah.
And when they started to take it apart to get it redone, they noticed a few issues.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what happened up here in the front.
Yeah, the firewall was cut out pretty bad. It was chopped up pretty bad in terms of rusted, so we had a lot of replacement panels that was rusted up and through there, and they did a patch on it. So originally the car was rusted into the firewall, and when they patched it, it was really a pretty poor patch, and then just loaded with filler
but well hidden, so you couldn't really tell from looking at it.
You wouldn't think it still looked pretty factory. So there was a lot of rust in through there, and that was only the surface of it, because then they actually got worse underneath as they started taking the car apart and noticing how much rust they actually had gone through. The car would actually sat in a dirt floor garage, and I think this part of it was the reason why it got so bad in the Northeast, which is really the rust.
Right, right.
You got a lot of rust problems with cars. Yeah.
And tell us just a little bit about the motor. How many horsepower was it putting out?
Yeah, this is an LS3 480 horse. Yeah.
Oh boy, and it's beautiful. I love that chrome.
Yeah.
And then the top is I don't know if that's like a stainless steel. It almost looks like it, but
well, the Tempest emblems are the original emblems that were on the rear quarters of the car.
Nice.
And they machined the valve covers there that hide the coil packs for the fuel injection, and they just put that in and put those on there. So the original to the car, the Tempest emblems. Yeah.
I like how they incorporate that part of the car.
Yeah.
You know, they don't lose it; they put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And now you've got three different covers up here. So tell me what these are.
Basically, here's your radiator cover here. This is your overflow for the radiator, and then that's your power steering fluid.
Okay. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's the nicest power steering cap I've ever seen. Let's walk around this side. All right. So the one thing I think everyone notices is the signature Dave Kindig door handles here.
Yeah, that was a must-have on it.
Yeah, if you're going to have it done there, yes, sir, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just so streamlined.
Yeah, and it kind of gives you the stock look of it, because of the GM.
Yep.
It's kind of like
with the thumb handle, yes. All right, so what was the interior like? I mean, it's obviously all been redone, including the headliner and everything. So what was it like? I mean, it must have been a pretty decent when you had it.
Interior originally was original interior, original carpet, everything was original to the car. The interior was actually in really good shape. It had bench seats. So we went to bucket seats on a custom-made console. The rear seat in the car now is the original bench seat. Just rebolstered, defoamed it, and upholstered it to match it. But that's the original rear bench to the car. The dash is original to that. Steering column, obviously, and the steering wheel we went differently. Because the 64 Tempest steering wheel is big and it's like this thin, so you don't get a good grip or anything like that. And it was obviously it was a column shifter, but we put the floor in the console shift in there, or automatic. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
But all custom leather. Leather headliner.
Headliner in there too. And then you also have a leather headliner in your boot.
Yeah, in the trunk. Yeah, in the boot there, and in the trunk.
We'll step back here and take a look at that.
All leather up there.
And then, before we do that, Rob, let's just talk about the rims a little bit, because this is sort of a throwback to what it would have looked like.
Throwback to the old Rally 2s, the old Rally reels, yeah. I did have Rallies on the car. I did run Rally 2s on it, 14-inch. This is a one-off wheel that Dave created for the car alone. It was he's doing a new line of wheels, and this is one of his one-offs that he custom-made, designed for this car. The first one it's ever used.
Oh, nice! Yeah, and they look fantastic.
Yeah, it looks like a Pontiac wheel.
Yes,
which is kind of like what we were going for, because we wanted the car to look like, still look like a Pontiac.
Right.
We didn't want to make it to the point where people didn't know what it was, and we didn't want to make it into a like a GTO type of thing. Right. And then the red lines on through there really go with the.
I was going to mention that. I love that set of
the 60s. Yep. Most of the cars had a lot of those.
All right, so James, we were talking just a little bit ago about some of the interior work. So there were some really unique things that you had mentioned. So tell us a little bit about the wiper motors on this vehicle.
Well, a couple features with the design of the car, things you don't really think about a lot too often. And one was the wiper motors. Since we did want to build a driver, not a trailer queen, so the old wiper motor on these 64 Pontiacs were high and low, high and low, one click, click, click. But Dave got in, you're going to drive it, so you put a 7-speed wiper motor in there, which nobody will ever know except us, which is cool. But it was a nice touch and thoughtful. Another thing he did in the interior, which was you would never know. The front windshield defroster vents are always just open vents from the ducts coming up through, but he actually takes a black screen and covers that, so it looks stock black, like it's open, but it's actually not open, so it's actually a finished look to the defroster duct, and nobody will ever know that except.
But nothing can fall in it.
Nothing can fall in it. The bugs can't get in there. Things doesn't fly out as it sits there.
As you turn it on,
it's trying to fly out, and it's basically a nice custom touch that a lot of people would have never even thought of doing.
That is just awesome.
It's really cool.
So this was had been all redone, right? This was
all redone.
You got all leather interior up here, along with the leather headliner in there.
All leather inside the floor. The stereo equipment's all hidden between the shelf and the back panel. They're all through there, access.
Which is nice. You don't see it, but it's all there.
And the battery was relocated to the trunk underneath everything.
Okay, and this is where the original location of the
original location of the door, of the fuel door.
Okay.
Now there was a emblem there, and then there was a stainless panel that went across here and there. We decided to delete that and just make it a cleaner look with that.
Now the bumpers on here, there's been quite a bit of work done on these.
Quite a bit,
I mean, just so much detail everywhere, but we were noticing this, even just this lip around the exhaust had to be curled.
Correct. They beat that, and then they put this trim around it and rolled that to make it even more of a finished look. This is where the original backup lights were.
Right, because originally the mufflers would have
come right out here.
Out of here.
Yeah, but that was a nice touch, I thought.
Oh, I absolutely love that. And then they also did a little extra cutting. Did they not on this? I'm not sure where my hand is showing, but right on this edge somewhere?
Yeah, so he tucked in the front and rear. They cut into the panel here, into the rear quarter, and trenches in, so it's flush now. Normally, bumpers from the 60s were big, massive things, and they would be sticking out. You could get your whole hand in through them a lot of times. You could.
Yep.
This is, you know, Signature is basically tucking those in. So basically taking the bumper and, you know, shortening it this way, cutting sections of it out.
Look down
and
the
then
side.
it out.
It barely sticks out.
Barely sticks out like that. And the front was done the same way, and they also took the front license plate space out of the car to make that more of a sleek design. Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely a stunning car.
Thank you.
So now it's a 1964 Pontiac Tempest.
Yeah.
Was there a particular draw for you to this particular car, this brand, or was it just having a muscle car?
Just having a muscle car, to be honest with you. Although my dad was a Pontiac guy.
Okay.
So I kind of had Pontiac blood going through my veins a little bit.
So it didn't hurt that this one was
Didn't hurt it was a Pontiac. I drove a 68, my grandfather's 68 Bonneville all through college. It was the first car I learned to drive on. Was a 68 Bonneville. So Pontiacs were always in my family. My dad always had them, my grandfather. So we were Pontiac guys, but I like all makes and models.
Right.
I like Mopars, I like Chevys, I like them all.
Okay, so what is, if I could ask you, then Matt, you can think about this question too. What is your favorite thing when you walk out in the garage and you see this car? What's your favorite thing about it? Can be anything.
Definitely the paint.
The paint.
The paint right off the bat.
That is a beautiful job.
The paint was custom made for us. We call it reticle.
Yep.
In this line of Axel Nobel's paint booth here, his line that Dave works with and custom made. I gave him an idea where we wanted to go with the color, but gave him free reign to design a color one-off for us for the car to debut it on this. And I think he nailed it because there's so many lines, body lines on this car. When you go around, how many lines there are, and the paint just picks up every single line, even the most subtle ones that come down. So you see how the line is through here, but you actually see the line where it goes in first and then comes out. You kind of miss that when it's like a dull orange peel colored paint, you know, old style, but it picks up every single body line all the way down the car.
I was looking at it, maybe we'll get a shot of it, but right down the side here, I mean, you could get a really good view of all those different spots on the car and the fenders. Matt, what is your favorite thing about this car?
You know, it's definitely the paint as well, and also just the contrast with the interior color. With the red is really beautiful.
That's true. Well, guys, thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We
really
sure enjoy the car. What a beautiful car. Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.